is 2024 draft season. And for the first time in at least a couple of drafts, the number one pick feels extremely wide open. I guess it's 2022, kind of. Feels super wide open this far out, which obviously was not the case last year. There are a lot of names, Ron Holland, Isaiah Collier, Manas Buzelis, even other internationals like Isan Almanza, who have been thrown out as potential number one picks. But for some reason, I don't really see anyone talking about Alex Sarr as a potential number one pick candidate, when I think he's one of the obvious best prospects in this next class, especially after his really stellar U19 tournament performance, where I think he was the most impressive prospect from an NBA projection standpoint in this entire tournament. Sarr is a listed 7'1" or 7 foot 18-year-old going to be playing for Perth Wildcats in the NBL next year, and I think he could emerge as the number one pick. I've never seen him even in the top 5 on like a mock draft, but I do think that he's gonna rise into that range quickly. And the main reason is his mobility, size, and defensive versatility, where we see Sarr able to do guard stuff like stunting using his length to contest. And then we see his fluidity and mobility in the open floor as a ball handler, where he's able to bring the ball up in transition like Giannis and make a great pass down. And then later on this play, we see him sprint back and protect the rim, which is his other, main path to value, as Sarr has really solid instincts, really great rotating over for big time blocks. And the ground coverage is the special trait, is like, if there had to be one, Alex Sarr's ability to cover like giant areas of court at legit 7 feet is really special. There aren't a lot of players his size who are moving like this, reading and jumping passing lanes with his speed and his instincts and his length. These are really special defensive plays. The movement skills beget real star defensive upside, where Sarr opens up his, like on this closeout, opens up his hips like a guard here. We see like this ball handler attack the top foot, which is often a difficult position to put defenders in, but Sarr fluidly opens his hips to turn and chase like he's fucking Josh Green or something, I don't know, and is able to spike this away with his incredible length and timing and such. Sarr is so good at these long rotations where he'll fly out of absolutely nowhere and swat shots that defenses aren't even expecting. This is one of the most valuable skills in basketball, to have a mistake eraser like Sarr, where when defenders get beat, you have a guy who is always lurking and always a threat to make a play at the rim, to shut down the basket, and to prevent the opposing team from getting 2 points. I think some of this mobility could extend to pick and roll defense in the future as well, where he certainly is raw. And I think that's one of Sarr's biggest defensive weaknesses, which I honestly don't think is the worst thing, is that he's just very raw in a lot of ways, which we'll get to. But Sarr has the mobility, theoretically, and the timing and the rim protection skills to be able to kind of maneuver backwards towards the rim on a drive like this and make plays. Sarr's lateral mobility is also really impressive. As we see on the same possession here, he's going to wall up and defend another top prospect for 2024 in Isan Almanza. He's so good flipping his hips, as we talked about, getting low, chopping his feet, and this is an insanely tough shot, but Sarr defended it about as well as you can ask there. And he gave Isan a lot of problems in the games they played in this tournament. His length and defending with his feet is really impressive for a guy that size, as Alex isn't like a super reachy defender. His hands are wide to his size. Watch his feet move. They're so light. He changes directions so well at the point of attack, and that leads to some really impressive defensive possessions. They aren't perfect, though, as I think Sarr, as I mentioned, has a lot of ways to go technically, as he's just kind of out of position here, and this allows Almanza to blow by him for the dunk easily. I don't think this is necessarily a function of poor foot speed, as we see Sarr, again, open up his hips and turn, but he's out of position to start this play. There's this like maybe kind of bad fake dribble handoff, and Sarr is just not in good position to start this play. He's kind of just slugging around, and Isan beats him. I think the real issue that this play kind of exposes is Sarr's like main limitations as a rim protector, meaning that he's not the most explosive leaper and the length isn't incredible, as explosive athletes at the rim can get the best of him, where his movement skills and ground coverage are incredible. But as that primary rim defender, I think there might be a ceiling. Again, we see Sarr overextend, and against a real legit skilled center, in Hansen Young, there's not really much he can do. Sarr is on like the top side of this play, and he's kind of out of it before it even starts. He doesn't have the strength to contest Young going down towards the rim, and Sarr is just kind of bullied out of that play. Is he going to be a real 5 center defender is one of the questions. Is he going to be a guy who can bulk up, add strength, and defend centers? I would say probably. I also don't think he's 7'1". He's listed like 7'7". I would guess he's more like 6'11", barefoot, which is still really impressive, but I think that matters. Sarr is also like quite jumpy, which is, again, like a small technical thing that a ton of young rim protectors have, where he'll jump at basically everything. There isn't even a shot that goes up here. This guy like glances at the rim, and Sarr is leaping like he's trying to block that shot, and he ends up leaving Isan wide open under the rim. Again, we see pretty, like, absolutely no reason to jump there. There isn't even a shot fake, and Sarr is jumping up, looking for a block that he's never going to find. And then again, we see the issues with second jump and length, and as Sarr is able to get back on the floor and get in front of Isan here, but he's just not that quick off of the ground in tight spaces, and he can't elevate to impact that shot. But overall, I think the defensive ceiling for Sarr is really high. There are a lot of technical footwork and positioning-based low-hanging fruit fixes, and given the incredible movement skills and instincts, along with pretty good athletic tools, I think there's a chance Sarr can be a really uniquely versatile and high-level defender. He is a really, really nice passer as well, as Sarr on the short roll can take a dribble and make quick, smart decisions. He's really, really good in these like advantage situations, which is a rare skill for, a 7-foot teenager to have, where Sarr can put the ball on the floor without getting flustered, read that this is the best play. The layup down low is better than the kick out. And he ends up, his teammate ends up scoring there. He's really good in these like advantage +1 situations where he will take a dribble, draw in the defense, and pass low. This is a situation that happens a lot in the NBA, especially as like a pick and roll guy. And I think Sarr in these short roll positions with a potent guard who can shoot pull-ups and really score is going to be really good capitalizing here. And the decision making is really, really impressive. It's not often you see young guys with this kind of decision making chops. There are some impressive finishing flashes too, where if Sarr has a bit more load time, he can really elevate and dunk over guys. But I think the main question with Sarr, and what will keep him from being a number 1 pick contender, is how does he score? Sarr has incredible movement skills, is a really impressive passer. The handle is not super great, as he tends to lose the ball in traffic. In these like +1 advantage situations, he can dribble just fine, and he's comfortable putting the ball on the floor, which is great. But when he's pressured and when he's trying to handle to score, there are definitely issues at this stage where he's bumped off pretty easily, he slips over, and again, I think as he grows into his body and ages, needs to improve, but he's not really a separation creator. As even, this is like a shot that he's able to make. Sarr in these ISO situations struggles to get separation and to get himself easy shots. And even on post-ups, he kind of settles pretty far from the basket a lot of the time, where he has pretty good touch and he can make shots like that. But Sarr's often pushed off of his spot by smaller, sturdier post defenders. He's not great at getting super deep position unless he's guarded by like a small, which in that case he's fine. But again, against actual big men, I don't think he's the best here. I think the main scoring upside will come from the movement skills, coordination, handling kind of blossoming, as he is a really impressive space cover, as we talked about. And when the handle works, there are some ridiculously enticing flashes. A play like this, namely where Sarr uses his spin move to get past Asa Newell, another future top pick potentially. When everything is working, look how low he gets to the ground, how explosive this spin move is. There's not much you can do to stop a 7-footer who's moving like that. And these are the kind of special plays that are going to unlock Sarr as a scorer. I think there is a great chance he's going to be a really good complementary player because of his transition game and his defense, and I mean defense, yes, but his decision making, which are really impressive skills. The shot is the next thing, which it's not great. He's pretty comfortable at this point, like taking open catch and shoots. The shot looks all right. It's a bit of like a two motion, like trebuchet kind of thing where he swings the ball back behind his head and fires. The numbers aren't amazing, of course, as in this last, FIBA, he's only taking 1 3 a game. Not a great free throw shooter. Kind of the same deal for OTE as well in his last season. Not really taking a ton of threes. The free throws aren't anything special. But I think Sarr, like as with many young 7-footers, don't have to get to that like level of shooter. If Sarr can draw closeouts, I think that's really all you need because of his impressive handling upside. If he can force defenses to close hard, he can use his movement skill and his fluidity and hopefully some improved handling to create offense, and especially when bigs are guarding him, because bigs really cannot close out, and you're probably going to have to throw a big on Sarr because he is a 7-footer. I really am excited to see him play at Perth in the NBL. They've done really well with their development for top prospects with guys like LaMelo and Josh Giddey and such. And I think there's a good chance Sarr could be the next in line of NBL guys to become top prospects. I'm really excited to see him play in more pro style NBL level offenses to see what he can contribute as a scorer, how much self creation he's allowed and he can bring. But I think a pure 6'11", 7-footer. He's one of the younger players in this draft. Doesn't turn 19 until next April, with really, really high-level defensive instincts and movement skills. This is someone who can be your franchise-changing defender. I think someone who is the best defender on a really good team with the upside, with the raw, untapped offensive upside. Sarr would definitely be like a weaker number 1 pick probably, but this is a weaker draft. And there aren't so many amazing options. All of the guys, Matas, Collier, Ron, have real flaws. Sarr has real flaws, but the upside, I think, might be higher than anyone else. And for me, that's good enough for him to be a real contender for the number 1 pick next summer. So let me know what you think, or if you have any other sleepers for the number 1 pick, or if you think I'm crazy. Let me know.